Rehab is now more fashionable than ever, with the young, rich and famous checking in and out at the slightest whim. We've seen Kate, Robbie and Lindsay do their time in order to try and salvage their public image, whilst Amy and Brittany teetered dangerously on the brink of self-destruction. Extreme Celebrity Rehab will look at why stardom has become so deadly and what it is about celebrities that make them so prone to addiction. We'll examine the effects of drugs and alcohol on the body and brain, and we'll take a look at who goes where to kick their habit and how they do it. Is Hollywood finally cleaning up its act, or is it all too little, too late? We live in a world obsessed by celebrity. We see them working the red carpet and posing for the paparazzi, lapping up the adulation and attention from their fans. But as much as we enjoy our stars shining in their full splendour, we also delight in seeing them shopping in the supermarket, wearing no makeup and stripped of all their glamour. Ultimately, there is nothing more compelling than poring over the next celebrity crisis to hit the headlines. But to what extent is the media really to blame?
I think the reason that people are so interested in celebrities in crisis is that it's really hard to watch the people have what seem to be perfect lives.
Life has got faster and people's ways of living have got faster, and obviously drugs come into that. It's highlighted mostly by the celebrities, and I think it just shows how bad it is in society, because the amount of celebrities who are getting caught or coming out openly and saying that they have addiction problems.
I think the media is to blame, perhaps, insofar as they might speed that process up. They accentuate and highlight that problem, and they pick up on every single little piece of that breakdown.
I think some celebrities may feed off the attention that they're getting from the press. I think it's a great way of keeping their name in the public eye all the time, and I think others don't necessarily crave it.
So what happens when stars go off the rails, and what part do addictions play in unravelling the fairy tale lives of the rich and famous? And what is it that triggers their deadly dependencies in the first place? The extreme highs that fame brings are not without extreme lows, and the exhilaration experienced in those moments of glory can be very hard to replicate when you're out of the spotlight.
Stardom and fame can be perfectly survivable if you're grounded, but it does also lead people to a wayward path.
I think fame has always been a dangerous thing. Since James Dean onwards, fame has always been a dangerous thing because it attracts a very specific kind of character. It requires a lot of hard work. It requires a personality which tends to be a rather insecure personality.
If you're a celebrity nowadays, you have got just enormous pressure on you. You've got enormous pressure to exceed all the time. I think personally, you have a lot of pressure to replicate the high that sometimes you may get if you're performing in front of 80,000 people.
It's very hard to create an identity of your own. When you're a celebrity, you become identified as a member of society that society almost owns.
If people aren't mature or prepared or psychologically balanced, it can be the death knell.
So do celebrities have certain addictive personalities that make them crave the limelight? Or is it just that they have so much farther to fall when their latest single or film fails to win over the critics, they need to cushion the blow?
An addict is somebody who uses substances to an unhealthy degree and, in the end, cannot function without those substances.
I think one can be predisposed to addiction, especially alcoholism, because we found that it does run in families. We don't know whether it's genetic or whether it's environmental or it's a combination of both. The fact is, if you have a parent that's had an issue with drinking, with drugs, you need to be a lot more vigilant.
It's quite hard to say whether celebrities per se are more prone to addiction. It's certainly that the drugs that they take are more readily available, perhaps. But at the same time, you could argue that a certain type of person will perhaps pursue fame and will pursue celebrity And that kind of person is also someone who's quite needy.
There is something very schizophrenic about the celebrity world, and you have to be able to deal with the downtime as well as the ups.
The dark underbelly of celebrity addiction is by no means a new phenomenon, and neither is the notion of going to rehab. But it's only recently that rehab has become an integral mechanism for PR spin. In Hollywood's golden era, if a star had problems, they would be dealt with discreetly, and it was a serious matter, rather than titillating chat show fodder.
The celebrity world of a few decades ago, when Liz Taylor and Liza Minnelli were kind of at their peak, was a very different one to today, in that it was a lot less stage managed. You know, if you were going to go into rehab, if you had problems, you knew you had to face them.
I think the people that really brought rehab into the forefront is the American president's wife, Betty Ford.